hello, Ala. Yeah, be proud of who we are. I love this song, Reham. Beautiful, beautiful one. Oh, incredible. All the way through and through. I just spoke it and walked towards it, and now I'm having good days. God just told me that I am worthy of receiving these good things. How many of you are with us for the first time today? You raise your hands. Liliana. I am proud of who I am. Sakshi. Welcome. Mayan. Welcome. Zainab. Welcome. And Helen. Hi, Helen. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully it's the first of many.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
It's good to be here. This health is one of my favorite topics.
Great. I'm so glad. I think it's the favor of many.
Yeah.
And you have a great selection of women that have really dedicated their time to do this and bring this forward to you. And they have something beautiful to offer. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Amina. Missed you too. We're now on here every month, so come join us. Always creating, innovating. You know, we're women. So as women, we're always trying to find a way to make things work. I love it. And then as a collective, we make magic happen. It's awesome. The power of many.
من الاسيستنت تبعي يكلمك. عندي ضيوف انا راعي البيت. عندي ضيوف.
I don't think that was our music.
Picture a place where it all doesn't hurt, where everything's safe and it doesn't get worse. Oh my, we see through bloodshot eyes. Picture a place somewhere else far away, where you know what they mean and they mean what they say to us. And would that be enough? Are we running out of time?
Okay. Let us get started. Hello, everyone. Reham will go ahead and mute everyone now to make sure that it holds a bit of the conversation and any of the noises that come in the back. But I'm so happy to see the many faces. Welcome some, I don't want to say previous ones back, and enjoy this time together. As we get started, as you know, with the Sophia Collective and myself, I have to always honor the many lives that are lost at this stage in time. All the Palestinian lives that are hurt and killed and displaced. I always want to send a moment of silence and a moment of prayer, which we will do during our meditation, which will be led shortly. But it is important for me to hold that near and dear to my heart, as I hold it near and dear to my heart, but bring that forth as we begin our activities today, which focus on our strength and our ability to thrive, and the importance for us to keep standing strong and in a healthy state. One of the things from the Sophia Collective, I think for some of you that were with us during the talk series, and now it's the Sophia Collective, you saw with the presentation that was already on playing during the music, that we shifted a little bit in focus around, or I should say we added a bit in focus around the time in March. It's actually coming up to a year next month, March 14th, 2022. 2023 is when we launched the Sophia Collective. And we're here a year later, have added 3 other pillars than the talk. We added grow, we added build, and we added connect. And a few of the ladies are with me here today to talk about that. We'll also address that in a bit. But I think the reason behind this is, you know, we've always been very strongly meaningful, but we're also shifting to becoming purposeful. And, you know, it's an and instead of an or. And I think that's kind of where we're shifting, where we're heading. And this is for me where I've been feeling stronger every day in this initiative. You know, despite it being, sometimes we've run into a lot of challenges, but I'm so grateful for the opportunity lent to me by so many women across the board in support, in help, in enablement. So thank you all for this and for bringing so much meaning into my life and into the collective life. And, you know, here we are carrying, you know, forward. To this month's topic, it's on health. And as you know, it's multifaceted and it's immensely large. It's probably, we received the largest amount of questions in the sign up than we've ever done before. So, you know, just to put it out there, I think it might be challenging for us to answer all these questions, but it tells of the need out there. And this is kind of, you know, we'll talk when we're talking with these beautiful women that are dedicating their time and energy into making this happen. It's interesting to see why this is so important to women. And I think it's the fact that very little exists out there that's so unique around implementation. There's a lot of science, there's a lot of great information, but to take it down to implementing it to daily life, there's not so much of that. And I think, you know, this group hopefully will get you there. This is an introduction to what they're about to do, and they'll share with us what their next 5-module program will do and bring forth. But before we jump in, I want to ask Claire and Rasha to share a little bit, because as we talked about the Sophia Collective, we mentioned multiple pillars, and now you're in a Sophia Talk. So this is when we come together and share stories and engage. But we also have other pillars like connect, like grow, and like build. But grow and build, in like health, have a active initiatives going on right now. So Claire, would you please get me to be quiet and for you to jump in and share with us about the program you and some incredible women also developed and have established. This is not online yet, but this is in physical form. Hopefully one day to bring it to an online space. But nonetheless, I think it's really important to, you know, speak to the formation and also the incredible strength and ability of so many women that came together to make something incredible live. Claire, the floor is yours, my dear.
Thank you so much, Sara. And hello, everyone. It's lovely to be with you all today. My name is Claire. And just to introduce a small amount about myself, my background is in psychology and in business. So really building organizations where all people can thrive. And with so many talented women in the Sophia Collective, myself and a small group of facilitators and coaches and entrepreneurs and bankers, that's kind of, I think, the mix in the group. we chose to come together and build a program of 5 modules to enable women to go on a journey, to enable them to be successful and thrive. And success is different, means different things to different people. It also depends very much on the context, right? So at different points in life, success emerges as something different. And this is very much reflected in the design of Grow. And so we start with the first module, which is very much an inward focusing module. And in this module, we connect into our purpose. So we search and we find, why are we here on this planet during this lifetime? Which you think might be hard to do in about 4-hour session, but we certainly give it a good go. And many women, even if they had previously connected with their purpose, it's a time to revisit it and a time to reconnect, actually, because it doesn't disappear, it's always there. And so this is really finding our why. And then in module 2, we think about, okay, this is our purpose. How do we bring this to life within the context that we're living today? Because then it has to be practical. And it has to fit with the life that you have right now. And so this is really the what. And so it's still inner, but also quite systemic. We look at the broader system that you're operating in. And these 2 modules are facilitated by myself and 3 other wonderful, talented beings. So Vandana, I know you're here because you're also in health. Vandana, you can wave. And Amna, I don't know if Amna is here. Amna can give us
Hi, I'm here.
This is Amna. And Marcia, I haven't seen Marcia on the screen, but maybe we can hear her. No, I don't know if Marcia is here. I haven't seen her, but 3 other fantastic facilitators. And then we go into module 3. So module 3 is about building my business model. Now, some people, they just want to do modules 1 and 2, and that's great, because right now they don't want to build a business, or they don't want to explore a business idea. Or they might go through modules 1 and 2 and think, actually, I want to join someone else's business that I've met in modules 1 and 2. Or I might want to change how I think about my career, because now I know what my purpose is. I can actually bring it more to life within the job that I have today, or within the roles that I have today. But for those people that have an idea, or they already have a business, or they have something that they've started that's a hobby that they might want to turn into a business, they can come on the journey 3, 4, and 5. So you can either do 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5, or all of the modules together. So module 3 is building my business model. And this is exploring like how you can actually practically build this business, and how does it make money, and who are your customers, and all these big questions, and getting a sense of that. So that's really the what. And then 4 is building my financial model. So this is, is this a hobby or is it a business? Because if it's going to be a business, it has to be profitable. So we sit with our laptops and we have Excel open, and we actually give you a template to build your financial model and to see where your revenue is coming from. And it's also fun, by the way. I know that might sound a bit dull, but Selma somehow manages to make it fun. And then 5 is pitching my business. So over the summer, you get a PowerPoint template and you work through that, which ends up being your pitch deck. And the final module, which is in September, is actually pitching your business. And you manage to do this within 10 minutes. And you think, there's no way that I can do this. But with some coaching from some experienced entrepreneurs, by the end of module 5, you can pitch your business in 10 minutes. And so 4 and 5 are really the how. And the talented entrepreneurs and business people that we have supporting us in modules 3, 4, and 5. So you get me all the way through, but the people that are really the content specialists in 3, 4, and 5 are Alice and Selma. And I don't know if Alice and Selma are here. They are not, okay. But they are part of the group and very often with us. And so that's it. That's the program. We piloted it last year. We know it works. And it's launching for 2024 in person in Abu Dhabi. And if you are interested to find out more, I will put my phone number in the chat, and you can just reach out to me via telephone or WhatsApp to find out more.
Yeah, and if I may add something here, Claire, I think it's so important to know, and the reason why we actually designed this is that I think as women, there's a time where we feel we're ready, and there's time where we hesitate to enter into the business space. And I attended the pilot of this for the first 2 sessions. Actually, I attended the first 4, but the first 2 for me were so supportive in even, and a lot of you know how much work I've done in mindfulness and a lot of work I've done on purpose. But there were some core fundamental elements that Claire and the team had brought in that truly helped me shape both in family life and for the Sophia Collective. And the second parts, and you might find that strange, I'm actually still struggling with as the Sophia Collective. So I might repeat the second 3 at a later stage for the Sophia Collective itself, because it's so important, I think, as women, of understanding what is it that's blocking us from our greatness. And this program actually does that before you enter incubators or all these fancy words that people end up putting us through in that sense. And now, thank you so much, Claire. Thank you so much, team, for that. It's really ultimately providing a space for women to figure out what is it that, you know, keeps us from getting more than 5% of that money. I really believe that we're onto something here, and we need to inject some energy into it and understand more and more what is it for us that we need to take action to move forward. And with that, there are women that are ready to move ahead and move forward. And I think I will be asking Rasha to unmute and talk briefly about the Sophia Build, which is kind of what we call our pre-incubator space, in a safe space to help women that are more ready in their businesses. They have their pitch decks ready. They have an idea that's formed, come through. So Rasha, go for it, my dear.
So hi everyone, it's lovely to meet all of you. I'm very happy to be attending today because also health is very important, and the ladies who are giving the session are just amazing. I'm going to tell you a bit about the Build pillar, and basically, as Sara mentioned, it is a pre-incubator. So in the world right now, in the ecosystem of entrepreneurship, you will find incubators, accelerators, VCs, angel investors, a lot of big words. That when you first want to even think about going in, you're like, oh my God, no, I can't do this. I don't know much about it. You know, I need to do a lot before I'm ready. And this is where absolutely the growth just gives you a stepping, stone to get there. But even if you have not gone through that, you can also take part in the Build pillar, because if you have your idea ready, if you have a business, if you've dabbled in it, if you have a minimal viable product that is ready and working, you can still apply to Build, and you can still go through the process, and you'll be able to basically find a safe space, okay, that hears you out, that listens to you, that gives you feedback in a way that is nurturing and not destructive. Because if we look again at the ecosystem, it was built with a male perspective, or from a male perspective, right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You know, it's worked for so many people. But I'm sure, as Sara mentioned, the 5%, and also like in the world of startups, less than 20% of teams have women as co-founders. So imagine, like for me, sometimes I'm really shocked, Sara, because they can't see what they're missing on when women are the ones who make the purchasing decisions and they have the purchasing power. And imagine like entrepreneurs and founders are missing out on all of that. So because of lack of representation. So if you are out there, if you have an idea that you want to pitch, or even just, you know, because sometimes when you have something and it's only in your head and you voice it out to someone else, and not just one person, just a group of people who are there to create that space for you, to support you, to help create a pitch deck. Even if you have a pitch deck that you're feeling a bit shy about, we can help you take it to the next level. So it's like a tunnel or a funnel, if you want to call it, and we're bringing people with great ideas, and whoever's not ready can apply to the Grow pillar, and whoever's ready can pitch to angel investors and investors who are coming from a different school of thought, who are there to support you, who are there to help you, who are there to give you advice on how to really grow your brand and become the next, you know, camel or unicorn or whatever they call them.
Yeah, I thank you, Rasha.
Yeah.
And I think what we found, because we ran the first pitch session, our pilot in April 2023. And what we're discovering is actually, at least, it's not a lot of data points, but women understand things differently. So when they go in an incubator, immediately, they may or may not get funded because they get lost in translation. And I'm finding even now with us being women translating, there are some things that are like, but what's happening here? And how can we truly understand that? So we have an April 2024 cycle coming up, and we will be communicating for those that applied. I think we're very excited about what the pitches that we got. And that should be, we should be communicating in this coming week, I think. So yeah, thank you for that, Rasha. And so yeah, keep attuned and know, you know, we are really here of service. We, as a Sophia Collective, we are a social enterprise. It's actually truly today is a nonprofit. It's there to support women. I just don't like to call it that because we need to be sustainable. We want to be an example for women of what sustaining our businesses mean. There's nothing shy about it, and going from, you know, from that perspective forward. So thank you for, you know, bearing with us as we wanted to talk about these things and the different pillars, but we feel it is important that we share this, you know, with our audiences, with our group. We are going to be coming up with a Sophia audio broadcast. We're not going to be doing podcasts yet, but we will start talking about certain elements of who we are and what we do within these audio broadcasts that we will put on our website. Again, social enterprise, fully in support of women, the way we think, the way we are, from heart to heart, really. So thank you so much for all of this, and you know, more to come. Shifting back to health, thank you all for listening to this. Before we get moving, as you all know, we always start our Sophia Collective experience with a meditation or a moment of silence. And as I mentioned, today, I would really like to dedicate our meditation and moment of silence for the many lives lost in these times that we're living, including the beautiful soul that had given up his life yesterday, Aaron, and the many, many lives on the ground in Gaza. And we will welcome Vandana to guide us through a gentle meditation for the next few minutes. She's been part of the Sophia Collective and the Talk series, guiding us through this in the most heartfelt way. And I'm always grateful to start the sessions, you know, being humbled by in the moments of gratitude that we get to experience together. So thank you, Vandana.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you so much.
Rehan, would you make sure that we're all muted? Sorry, Vandana, except for Vandana as we do this. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. And yeah, let's dedicate a few moments to first ground ourselves, center, and as Sara mentioned, a moment or two of silence in prayer for the ones who have lost their lives. So what I have actually, what I decide to share today is a few moments of grounding, a few minutes of centering. And from there, I will take you all through a loving kindness metta prayer, which we will dedicate first to ourselves, then to our loved ones, further on to the world, and in this at this moment to Palestine, and then to all the sentient beings on the planet. And from there, we will go into a 2-minute silence. So let's all get comfortable where we are seated. If you prefer to close your eyes or just lower your eyelids, and give yourself the permission to arrive into the present moment. Just allow your daily agenda to be put aside just for a while today. Acknowledging that this sharing is a priority for you and your loved ones. Start to take your attention to the base of your spine, your root chakra. Feel your breath taking you and connecting you to your root. Sense the connection with Mother Earth through your base chakra, your root chakra. And you may feel this connection traveling down through your legs, down through the soles of your feet into Mother Earth. With every breath, feel yourself connecting deeper. Offer gratitude for her nurturing energy and the unconditional space that Mother Earth provides for our physical existence. Feel the anchoring energy in your life, in the here and now. And request that this anchoring energy to travel up through your root chakra into you. And just observe how far into your being do you sense this connection with Mother Earth. From here, take your attention to your crown chakra, and allow your mind's eye to visualize and feel a beautiful ray of light of whatever color that is appropriate for you. Allow that beautiful ray of light to enter you through your crown chakra, top of your head. Acknowledge this beautiful light to be your anchor in the vastness of the universe and to your higher self. Invite it to travel further into you. Invite it to bring with it a sense of deep connection with the universe and your higher self. Observe how far within you the universal energy is sensed. Observe these two energies, the anchoring into Mother Earth and the anchoring into the vastness of the universe and your true self within yourself. Feel the sensations that get evoked within you. As you stay in this anchoring energy, let's offer prayer of loving kindness, compassion, joy, and calmness to yourself with the words, "May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be free from suffering. May I be well. May I be at peace. May I be joyful." And From that space, offer prayer of loving kindness, compassion, joy, and calmness to your loved ones with the words, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be free from suffering. May you be well. May you be at peace. May you be joyful. Extending this prayer of loving kindness, compassion, joy, and calmness to all human beings who have walked on this earth. May all be filled with loving kindness. May all be free from suffering. May all be well. May all be at peace. May all be joyful. And extend this circle of love and compassion further to all sentient beings on the planet. May all be filled with loving kindness. May all be free from suffering. May all be well. May all be at peace. May all be joyful. Take this beautiful vibration of the prayer of loving kindness as we take a 2-minute silence. Gather all the love you feel within and around you. Feel it in all your senses. Keeping in awareness of this anchoring energy with Mother Earth and the universe. Allow your breath to guide you back into this present moment. And with a beautiful smile on your face, when you feel ready with your next exhalation, you can gently open your eyes. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. All okay? Everybody's back.
Thank you so much, Vandana.
Thank you, Sara.
The
It was
grace that fills my heart, the grace that fills this room, the love, the joy. Thank you so much. It's always
Thank
an
you.
honor,
Thank you,
honestly, going through this with you.
It's always an honor to share, trust me. Thank you, Sara. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, now this gets us ready to the topic of choice today and why we're all gathered. And, you know, let me just share a little bit of how we started this back, I think in April, May, June 2024. So earlier in the year, Cecilia approached me, Ceci asks me about how can we create something around walking and, you know, health. As you know, she's such a passionate person in transforming women's health. And, you know, I'm like, you know, for sure, you know, we can start an initiative, we can create, you know, a million thoughts go through my head. And then I called her up and I'm like, hey, would you be interested in maybe doing something with health? And then, you know, we tapped in Nelly, Miran, Vandana, and Tejas. And it was magic in the formation of how these beautiful souls, all special in their own area and own field, come together to bring forth this experience that we're going to have together here, but also what they will share with you, what they have produced and what they will share with you, and they will continue to produce together as a consortium, as a group, for the benefit and the health of women. And for those of you that know me, you know that I believe tremendously in the power of the collective, the power that we can each bring to the table. Coupled with that is powers of women that bring to the table can multiply exponentially. And that's how transformation comes through. So my gift a little bit to the world is that exponential power when we come together and what that would bring about. And this is what we're going to experience here today with these 5 beautiful women, Ceci, Nelly, Miran, Tejas, and Vandana. I think now maybe Riham will pin them a little bit so they can show up on your screen, and then you can have a chance of listening a little bit to the conversation and a little bit of the dialogue that we will have together. Are you ladies unmuted? Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Sara.
Hi,
Hi, everyone.
Hey. Welcome. Riham, have we pinned the 5 ladies? Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you. It's not showing up on my view, but it should be, I guess, soon. Awesome. Everyone seeing okay? Thumbs up. Hearing us well? Great. Welcome. So, okay, ladies, here we are. Finally, you've been doing quite a bit of hard work, working together, I know there's, in addition to your daily dedication of, your whole lives of being, moms and spouses and entrepreneurs in your own way, you made a choice to dedicate time and energy into this project. And for that, I'm super grateful. And I know many women will also be super grateful as you roll this out. So if I'm going to get started a little bit, I was going to introduce each of you, but I thought maybe it's nice that you can share a little bit about who you are, and we will go into the conversation of why you chose to be here in a little bit. And let's start with Nelly.
Hello, everyone. So so I'm a holistic health coach and mindset coach as well. So, but what inspired me to become a coach, actually, it's my own wellness journey, which started 10 years ago, maybe. So at the time, I was not feeling well in general. So I was feeling like sense of like low energy, and I wasn't feeling a sense of, I simply wasn't feeling like alive. And also at the time, I was married for 10 years, and we were not getting pregnant. So we went through all the tests, and all the results were okay. So we were diagnosed with unexplained infertility. And because I was 38 at the time, so the doctor said not to wait, and better not to wait and just do IUI or IVF. And because I was so down and just like I took a decision out of, fear because of all this urgency. And I went through IVF and IUI, but it didn't work. And actually, I wasn't even disappointed. I felt relieved somehow, because I had this soul nudge that this is not the path for me. There is another path that I need to go through and explore, and there's something I need to overcome. So at the time, I started listening to this inner voice, okay, and to go inward and sit in this stillness and just attune to my body. And something interesting happened. I started to become curious, and I started asking questions. So I did research, and something came up. The thing that was coming up for me was hormones, how to balance hormones, what would mess up with your hormones. And what stood out for me is sugar. Sugar can mess up with your hormones. And the reason why it stood out for me, because there are other reasons as well that can mess up with the hormones, is that I used to eat lots of sugar. So I used to it was part of my identity, Nelly eats lots of sugar and she just never gained weight. And I really believed that I was getting away of eating that much sugar, And in reality, something else was manifesting in another way in my in my health. So I decided, I took a conscious decision based on this to cut sugar for 21 days and see how things go. And just in 2 weeks, something amazing happened. I just felt full of energy. And because I started to feel so much energy, I started to feel more alive, and I started to change my reality. Like it spelled over all areas of my life, because I have energy now. Even at the time, I was still in corporate world, and my job wasn't fulfilling. But because I had energy, I started to make new connections, and also what happened is I started to initiate a new project in my work. So I started to even like my work back then, and of course investing in the relationship with my husband. But the thing is, if I just took actions out of urgency and just went with what the doctor said, I wouldn't have connected to my real intention, which is to feel alive. So motherhood was something that I wanted, but actually it is not the deep intention, my deep intention. my deep intention was to feel alive and to be able to experience life fully, and for my body to express itself fully. And motherhood would be, one of these experiences that I'm going to have if it's meant to happen. So I just detached myself from the outcome. And I think this mindset shift that happened, and this need sitting in my feeling and looking inward, it just made, it empowered me so much. And because I felt so empowered, I felt that I wanted to share this with everyone. And I wanted also to support everyone that would go through something like this on their journey. And that's how, like, maybe 5 years later, I got pregnant. I had my son. I was still working in my corporate job, but I got certified as well, and to be able to also support other individuals to be empowered to go on their wellness journey and to just be curious.
Thank you, Nelly. Great. Nice to meet you. All of you. I love it. You're alive, you.
Thank you.
Vandana, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself? And Rehab, would you kindly pin Miran? I think Miran wasn't pinned, but I may be mistaken. Go ahead, Vandana.
Right. Hi, everybody. I'm Vandana. I'm an energy healer and holistic specialist, wellness coach, meditation facilitator. And I've been in the realms of holistic healing for more than 2 decades. My journey started, actually, I got motivated to step into this realm 26 years back when I was faced with an autoimmune condition. And I was a young mom. I didn't know what was going on. I always thought I was very, healthy. I used to eat healthy, and just like how Nelly mentioned, I was nice and slim. Everyone, wow, you look really young and happy and strong. And I have a great marriage. So there was nothing really wrong as such until this autoimmune condition shows up in my life, and I, of course, succumbed to conventional medicine because I had to find some kind of balance. And I gave it enough time, but I would not even get, I would say, 10% of balance out of it. And that made me think like, okay, it's trying to tell me something and I need to pause and I need to take some charge here. Because every doctor I went to, they said, you ask too many questions. Just take this medicine and get on with it. Just accept the fact that you're stuck with it for the rest of your life.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I'm in my early 30s. Would you expect me to, just take medication for the rest of my life? And this was exactly the thought that came to my mind. What will happen to me at 60? Will I be struggling to even find a balance of this nature, which is not even 100%? And I knew something was wrong. So I embarked and I immersed myself in understanding and finding ways to heal myself. I had a very naive approach at that time. I'm going to learn, because my imbalance was on a physical level, I'm going to learn some holistic therapies, and I'm going to, specifically reflexology was what was on my mind. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to work on myself, heal myself, and help others. And so I started my journey, and it was, of course, not as simple as I thought it would be at that time. But I have no complaints because it patiently made me see the interconnectedness of mind, body, spirit, the harmony between mind, body, spirit being so important. It patiently groomed me into who I am today in my practice. And my practice is about, no matter what modality I may use facial reflexology, foot reflexology, energy healing through ascension Reiki, through soul guidance, meditation, whatever my approach may be, at the core, what I am striving to inspire in everybody is to find that delicate balance between their mind, body, and spirit, and to make them see how the energy is, their life force energy is communicating through it, so that they may be inspired to have belief in themselves, to feel empowered, and to trust that they can heal themselves. And that is the message that I ensure that it's coming through any of my session, any of my interaction, I should say, whether it is in the context of my work or even in my personal life. it has shaped me into who I am. So it is the silver lining. I found my truth. And so my approach is called graceful reflection, which means finding spirituality or your higher consciousness through everyday experiences, because your higher consciousness or your life force energy is pulsating through your mind, body, spirit consistently. There's not a minute when it stops communicating. All we need to do is be aware of it and listen. And that is my inspiration, and I keep sharing that message in any context that comes up my way. I accept it.
Oh, thank you, Vandana. Thank you.
Thank you.
So beautiful. And it really shows in everything you touch and everything you do. It's powerful. Thank you. Tejas, would you please tell us a little bit about you and what inspired you to be here?
Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to try to put the GROW module into action over here because I was one of the participants for the first program. So Claire, I'll try to do you proud, okay? Yeah, a year ago when I used to start telling my story, it never ended in less than 20 minutes. So I'm going to use all my GROW learning over here. So I am Dr. Tejas. I am an Ayurvedician, a fermentista, a holistic health consultant, and a coach. I've been in the healthcare industry for almost 21 years, and I basically walk people back to health via their guts, using food medicine, using ferments, and small, sustainable lifestyle changes. I also love to empower people to take charge of their own health by sharing whatever are my experiences so far, and I've had quite a few on my personal health journey and my family health journey. And whatever I have learned so far, and the joy is basically of sharing food medicine and ferments. So I do a lot of gut health deep dives. I talk a lot about fermentation. I do different types of fermentation workshops from all levels. So like from beginner levels to pro levels, for students, for corporates, for any type in between. So they can be bespoke or they can be what I have customized for myself. How did I end up being into gut health? I don't like using the word expert. I think I'm a forever student of gut health. I am still very much learning about Ayurveda still, and very much learning about gut health and whatever the new science is bringing into light. I don't know whether it was by default or by design. So after graduating from Ayurvedic medicine and surgery from India, life took me to London via Paris. And by the time my daughter was born, we were firmly in the hands of NHS. And I was far away from Ayurveda. I was pretty much on the dark side in all practical ways. And like all kids, she started getting recurrent ear infections. And every other week, we would throw a whole bunch of very heavy duty antibiotics at her. Fast forward about 7 odd years, when I came here to the Middle East with my family, she was showing all signs of dysbiotic gut, or what is typically called as a leaky gut. So indigestion, bloating, irritability, issues with sleep, you name it. As life would have it, at the same time, I was working very seriously with rescue animals and trying to see if there were ways that were cost effective and easy for them to offer good nutrition and bring them back to health. And as life would have it, it brings me back over and over back to my roots, which is Ayurveda and fermentation and food medicine. So long story short, that's how I ended up doing a deep dive into gut health, starting from my family first. And then, the family of two-leggeds and four-leggeds, as I like to call it. And eventually it went out in the community, and here we are. So I was new to Abu Dhabi, and it was one joining the Sophia Collective just about a year ago. I still remember that eventful day, Sara, which you mentioned a few minutes ago. I think it was a Sophia Connect event, which you had hosted in your beautiful place. And you had asked us, oh, would you join the Sophia Health? And for a moment, I was really stunned. I wasn't able to answer you, saying, oh my God, will I be able to do it? I've got Ceci here, I've got Vandana here. I mean, will I be able to do it? But I have been ever so grateful for that invitation, because it has been such a joyride to be with all these ladies. And yeah, hopefully we can make lots more fun together.
Yeah, I
Thank
mean,
you.
it's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all this. And I say this quite often, actually, that many of you know that I took a moment to actually say a moment, but it's like a few months to depart Abu Dhabi, where I'm now in the US. And I remember when I first arrived and feeling that, my goodness, the level of expertise of the women that I have met in Abu Dhabi, the level of heart, the level of dedication is so high. It was really hard for me to integrate and find. There's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of information here, but there's a lot less ability to implement. There's a less ability to find out. And of course, you could say, well, their network, the connections, but I don't think it's just that. I think there's a really heartfelt connection in the ability for women to come together and share with other women, all this beautiful knowledge that they have. Yeah, so thank you, Tejas, for accepting that. And I think, your field is so needed. And, giving you a platform, giving you a chance to share your knowledge is so key. And I think it's the connectivity of the many of us here today, which you'll still hear from a few others, that, will make this such a marvelous product as we carry on. Miran, can I ask you to go next, please?
Yes. Hi, everybody. I'm Miran, and I'm a homeopath. So my journey started, I guess, I'm a mom of 3. And, when you're like a mom, when your babies get sick, the first thing you do, you just run to the doctor. And I spent many hours in like Khalifa Hospital at like midnight, because of my kids, they're either croupy or they can't breathe, all sorts of stories. And every time I went to the doctor, I'd come back with a huge bag of medicine. And I was like, there's no way that we can give this little baby this, like, a paracetamol and ibuprofen, and sometimes it was like Voltaren and cough medicine. And it was just like the list just kept on going. And like there must be an easier, like more natural way to give our kids. They have to like thrive properly, because this is just gonna set them back. And I was always worried, they'd have like they'd get all this croupy cough will cause, respiratory problems, because, we live in a place where it's quite dusty and humid, and it's very possible. So just the more I was questioning this, one day, just by chance, I met this doctor, a dermatologist, who introduced me to homeopathy. And I had no idea, never heard of it before. And I started digging deeper, and I found a homeopath here in Abu Dhabi, and I started going to her and taking my kids there. And slowly, my kids didn't need any of these medications. They didn't need the paracetamol. They didn't need the ibuprofen. They just started to get, their immunity got stronger. And I was like, this is it. I love this. This is what I want to do. And I started delving deeper. I got a degree in it from the Canadian College of Homeopathy in Canada. And I just love it. And now the more, and I keep on taking classes, and the more I go deeper into it, I learn more, and I'm more excited, and I want to tell the world all about homeopathy and help people, go on their healing journey and feel better about themselves, because there's so much ways out there that are more effective and more natural to heal, rather than going this route of allopathic medicine with all the synthetic stuff out there. So that's it. So I want to just introduce people to homeopathy and teach them more and more about it.
Yeah, and thank you. And it is really true, because I feel that even for me, when we were on our walk and you explained it to me briefly, I had, of course, I've heard of it. I've seen them, some of the medicine that's, online but I never really understood the depth of it. And this is in all your stories, and as we hear Ceci's as well, that it's it's such a personal connection to each and every one of you. And then you made a choice to create this life shift, to bring such knowledge and information forth to yourselves, to your families, and then to the community. And Ceci, would you guide us, last but not least, for sure, into your journey?
Thank you. My name is Cecilia, and I see myself as a life learner in terms of profession and growth, personal growth. And my journey actually in wellness started while I was very young, probably more than 20 years ago. My dad was a vegetarian. He was into martial arts. He used to meditate. He's an agriculture engineer, so he used to always try to talk to me about biology, and I would be like, no, not now. And now I love it. Like now I'm almost done with my master's in clinical nutrition, and it's like so hard, but it's all like tough biology and molecular nutrition. And I'm like, oh, I wish I studied with him before. Wouldn't be so hard now. But anyhow, so yeah, I used to teach aerobics and all this since I was really, really young. And then I kept teaching classes, and I became a health coach. And then life happened to me also. I got breast cancer. And after my journey with breast cancer, I really became very inspired in learning really in how to be the healthiest version of myself, okay? Because I was someone that was put into immediate menopause being part of my treatment. And it was really, really hard. But I decided there, after, of course, going through stages in which they were really hard, but I decided that I wasn't gonna let that defeat me. I'm like, I have to find a way to live my best life, even if I have menopause at 40 years old, because it was really, really tough. So I started studying more. I started just searching which foods, for example, in terms of food, which foods would help me with my hormones. I did not have any type of hormone administered to me at all. So I used to go to the doctor, and I remember going to the gynecologist, and she's like, yeah, you have hormones of like if you were 80 years old in terms of estrogen and progesterone. I'm like, okay, thank you very much. That makes me feel really good. But, I'm like, I put in my mind, I'm not gonna let that defeat me. I'm gonna live my best life because I'm still young, and I wanna have. So I started doing my research. In terms of nutrition, in terms of mindfulness, in terms of exercise. I changed the exercises that I used to do. I'm kind from I used to do all these HIIT exercises and get exhausted, sweaty. And I started to notice that after I went through my breast cancer journey, that type of activities did not suit me anymore. In the beginning, it was hard to let go of my identity because I identified myself with my old me, and I didn't want to let go of that. There's a lot of ego involved. But then I surrendered, and I started my journey with yoga. So I am a health coach as well, and I am a yoga instructor. And in my yoga classes, I do meditation. I do heart opening meditations. It has changed my life. I've been to retreats in which I have learned about mindfulness practices that have changed my life. So why do I do what I do? Because I want every woman that I meet, and this is what I do in my programs. I'm the founder of a very successful program so far that is called Mastering Fat Loss, but it's not only about losing fat, it's about becoming your stronger self, about changing your body composition. And also I talk a lot about mindfulness. I talk a lot about, it's not only about losing fat or not, or looking good. It's also about what you feel inside. And I don't know, breast cancer, I thank to my journey because it really opened the door for me to explore what I'm learning now. And it changed my life. And I want to help other women change their lives. Because, for example, recently I have so many women that come that are younger than me, and they're like, well, I'm perimenopause, I don't feel good. And they think that life is over. And when I talk to them, I think I give them hope. And I feel like that's one of my duties now, that I'm living my journey and yeah, growing with my clients and with all of you.
And this is what's so beautiful, honestly. Thank you so much, because this is what incredibly inspiring for me. And you know, when we had the conversation together, of knowing that there will be something brilliant between, you know, the five of you in that creation, because there's like a common thread, and maybe I haven't said that to you before, this common thread of wanting to thrive. You know, you're willing to take that moment, and you're so selfless that your dedication, you know, to others goes to the point that you're willing to take 2, 3, 4, 5 years of learning and education and knowledge, so you can get that knowledge so you can share it with others. Like, there's so many, like, I would love to do this, but I don't have that ability, right? Like, but you made that choice not only for yourselves and your family, but now in a way to actually share it. I think this is where each one of us as women are amazing. And this is when we talk about like the grow and the build and what we're creating, is the ability to figure out what is it that you're passionate about. And then though it might take you 2, 3 years, or may take us 2, 3 years, we're going to get there. And the idea of it is to share. And in the process, you're thriving. And I think that connection that you all share, I pray that it starts to show in the health module that you're creating. So let's shift in conversation a little bit about the program itself. Would one of you please share what is it, and why are you doing it, and what keeps you going, and what keeps you coming to doing it?
Who wants to
I don't know, Sara, if I have shared this with you before, but I remember during the launch event last year, it's almost a year. So, you know, like after these inspiring talks that happened, you know, with all, you know, like lots of ladies, or also women that were with the Sophia from the beginning. So, and then we moved to outdoors, you know, to just like have a bite and chat. And I was like, I was responsible for catering back then, you know, and I was just like going around and overseeing everything and looking at the women glowing and just feeling inspired and elevated. And I felt this elevated feeling, you know, I felt so inspired as well. And I just like had a vision of, you know, a fifth pillar, you know, Sophia sustain. Well, I have to come up with sustain because it's a verb, you know. But it was just coming actually from a corporate background. It felt that, yes, while women are growing and building and connecting and, you know, being inspired, health usually, you know, is not prioritized, especially when we have family and work. And I felt that, you know, the Sophia Collective's vision of thriving and empowerment, health is a very fundamental for women to be empowered and to thrive. And although all the pillars, they have element of balance and feminine energy, it's embedded inside of them in an amazing way. But just like health needed something, so I just like I had this vision, and what was amazing is that after a month or a month and a half, I received this WhatsApp notification from Sara, Sophia and Health, you know, and Cecilia was there in the group. I was like, I felt that, you know, when intentions are aligned, I feel that this is a alignment of the collective intention. And you, Sara, you just always take inspired actions, and you are very in tune with, you know, the collective intentions and needs. This is what I believe and I feel. And yeah, and how it evolves. So each of I wouldn't imagine this program like as if it's organically each one of the beautiful women in this group, they are meant to be exactly in that program, and this is what makes it so unique. I just wanted to share this because it was just the power of intention, you know.
Yeah, but there's so much to say. I think in the program that you're designing, it's mind, body, spirit. It's
it's mind,
yeah.
body, spirit.
Yeah, would you share a little bit about it with us so everyone here can hear it and know a little bit of the program? And I think that's exactly, and the intentions are in full alignment to that. So you guys had that thought somewhere along the way, deep inside, and it was just the connection that made it come through.
Yeah, so I mean, I can talk a little bit about that. I remember Nelly sharing that same vision with me at Sophia launch, and when we met at your place, Sara, and then we all started meeting up. And I think before we could, definitely the intention was to give women bite-sized information on various topics that are relevant to finding balance. And, you know, there's some very common factors that are being discussed in the health aspect. But we all agreed on our first meeting that we wanted to set the foundation, and the foundation would be mind, body, spirit, you know, because only on that strong foundation can we then build more deeper understanding and knowledge, say, for example, on women's hormonal health or gut health and so on. So that is what we are going to be launching with. It is going to be the very first will be the foundation and understanding why health needs to be looked into from all aspects and how they get integrated. And it's not just one aspect of fixing your body, even if the imbalance is showing in there. And so we're going to be having that as our module 1, and then we're going to be building up from there. Perhaps, you know, the topics will still building up, but we will be talking a lot about women's hormonal health and gut health. And I think we're going modules with it, but it's shaping slowly and steadily with a strong foundation.
Great. Great. But if in general, I'll just make sure that comes through. So what you're doing now is is it next week or next month? Are you piloting the first module program?
That's right. Yes, we are going in on the 6th of March with our the pilot of module 1A, because we got the module 1 divided into 2 parts, 1A and 1B. 6th of March is our module A, which is, Nelly, we're calling it Harmony of Being.
Yes,
right?
Harmony of Being.
And
are you having room for women to sign up? Is this something that people can join you in?
Absolutely.
It's an in-person session?
In Abu Dhabi, in person, and I think on our chat, Riham will be sharing the invitation to Module 1, which is being launched, and everybody is welcome, you know, to join us and experience what we've been curating together. Yeah.
Great. So maybe Riham, we can post that on here. I know you posted the grow one earlier, so it could be good to see what we can have. I think there might be a maximum of 15 to 20 people that we could take for the initial pilot for the first one. Okay, great. Thank you. I just wanted to get that out of the way to make sure that people understand that there's multiple modules with information, because I know we had like nearly 70, 30 questions come through, and we're not going to be able to answer all of them. But in the subject of, in general conversations, before we jump into the questions that the sign up people have sent in, or the participants, can you just tell me a little bit of how it's been working together? Has it been fun? Has it been, educational? What have you gathered from this kind of relationship that you put together?
Working together, it's been so fun, honestly. it's like a tribe that you join and you can just talk for hours. That's how I feel. Like I'm with them and I'm just like talking for hours, because it's like a safe, it's a place where we all connect because we all believe in the same, in the same thing, which is health and wellness and spirituality and, like homeopathy, Ayurveda. I mean, it's like amazing. I can talk about that for hours. I'm learning so much from everyone.
Yes, we're definitely learning from each other. We meet up sometimes on Zoom or in person, and we start early in the morning and we just carry through to like the afternoon, and we're still talking and we're still learning.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
And
I
what
can
I
imagine, but
really,
go ahead.
sorry. No, I said, I was going to say, sorry, go for it, Tejas.
I think our synergy has been very, very organic. So, whilst we were put together, and I think, Sara, we have to thank you for, your innate intuition for that when you pulled us into a group, because from the word go, from the moment we got together, it has been a very, very smooth flow in terms of, okay, what did we want to create? The vision was very aligned, the topics were very aligned. And what we found was that, we were all walking towards the same end, just the means were very different. And it was very enriching means because, that also underpinned the fundamentals of the program. It was mind, body, spirit. But at the same time, they were so attuned and so aligned with each other. So creating these modules has been, to be honest, a lot of fun and a lot of learning, rather than saying, oh, now we have a curriculum and then we have to go around with this, because it was like, oh my God, there's so much to share, and how much do we share? So like, like Vandana was saying earlier, so we have a few different modules that are like in the pipeline. But having these questions from the participants today has also what we need to incorporate. What we always find that with each of us, like, whenever we are creating any of the modules, we find that there's so much that each of us wants to share. That, we could stay there for a deep dive of 8 hours per module per se. But then having these questions from these wonderful participating ladies would be really useful for us, so that we actually zero down on the things that they actually want to hear, that is, very, very relevant for them. So it would help us kind of, have a more focused vision than having like, okay, let's do this deep dive for 8 hours.
Absolutely. I mean, it's brilliantly said, Tejas. I think it's so important. I think we do that a lot. And I think this is the beauty of a lot of kind of what we're doing at the Sophia Collective. There's so much organic growth that we're taking our time to shape and create and make happen, that ultimately it delivers the product that's really needed for the time that we're living in. And this is what I meant by implementation. And I think I sent you guys a voice note earlier on when I first moved here, in a shock. I'm like, help, I think your product is really needed, because I felt
I remember
so
that.
alone. Yeah. I remember that popped in my head just now. I'm like, I think I communicated that because it felt like, okay, no, we're not, this is not something to pause. This is something so exciting and so important, because it really is the future. We are putting into something that, and it's not just an individual, it's a collective of you that are awesome in making this happen. But to your point, Tejas, I'm going to jump into some of the participant questions, if I may, because we have a few more minutes left. And I apologize in advance for us not being able to answer all of them. We'll do our best to answer. And if it's time for some of you to have to leave, you're very welcome to, but we can stay maybe a few more minutes after to continue with these questions. So please stay with us if you'd like. But I think it's really important to note that do sign up. It is physically in Abu Dhabi. I think maybe later on, once it's concrete, they finish the pilot, they understand the content, maybe it will go online. But for the time being, it will be in person in Abu Dhabi starting next week. So you can go ahead and look at the forms. But I think Miran, the first question is to you. What is homeopathic remedies? What homeopathic remedies do you recommend for teenage period cramps and mood swings? That came from the registrations.
In homeopathy, all the remedies, they touch on so many different aspects, like they're very holistic. They touch on mental, emotional, physical. So to pinpoint one remedy is one of the hardest things to do. But I can say, like, you know, you have like, there are some remedies that work better for women, like pulsatilla or sepia, and they both work for women, like for girls that are moving into puberty and having all those cramps and everything, and for women that are in there going through menopause and all the things that they go through. So for cramps specifically, and for you know, for teenagers, we can talk about magfos, chamomilla, nux vomica, pulsatilla, sepia. I can just keep on going. But the most important thing is that the way the homeopathy works is very personal, very individualized. So the way it is, I do a consultation with the person, and through that, I match the essence or the personality or the energy with the energy of either a plant or a mineral or an animal. So just answering something, this is like very, very broad, and that fits for all kind of pathologies.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that, because I think it's important maybe to address that point, is that there are quite a few questions here, but it's often in health, you answer, well, it depends, right? Or it might be personalized to the specific way. So I'm grateful that you're giving a broader answer, but recognizing that each person might have a unique situation that we will need to address with them. And for that purpose, for those of you joining for the first time, Riham will go ahead and send an email of thanks after this and send you a WhatsApp link that you can join, where we will put the profiles of each of the ladies here, as well as their contact details. So if you want further one-on-one consultations or discussions with them, you feel free to reach out to them directly. So as well as sign up for the modules and, you know, come to their sessions and get to know them there as well. So I think those are important to address, and we'll keep that going. Another question. What's the perspective on health versus weight? Does thin really mean healthy? And many health-related social media posts seem to infer that thinner people are healthier. Cecilia, I think this is maybe up your alley.
I mean, health is a multifaceted, like you said, concept, right? It goes beyond weight, it goes beyond BMI. There's things to consider. I mean, if you see a thin person, it doesn't mean that they're healthy. We need to see things like their body composition, their metabolic health, their lifestyle. There's lifestyle factors that influence that. Genetics as well as mental health. There might be, you know, eating disorders that is not particularly healthy. So to your question, in my experience, I do in-body compositions all the time, and I can tell you that sometimes somebody that looks a little bit in the fuller side is healthier than some of my clients that look thinner, because they have more things like visceral fat, which is the fat that can be around your vital organs. You know, their adipose tissue is not as healthy as to the person that it's a little bit fuller. So it just depends. You know, and there's also other aspects. There's a disease called lipodystrophy, which you may have somebody really, really thin, but they actually don't have adipose tissue, which is adipose tissue is what stores the energy in the body and what protects the vital organs. So to your question, definitely not. Thin doesn't equal healthy. There's so many other things that
variables, yeah,
for that.
Yeah, thank you for that. And will you address a bit of that in our in the modules as well? Like, will that be a bit introduced to?
Yes, so actually module 3 is going to be all about metabolic health, which is going to be about metabolic, about metabolism, about hormones, and also about gut health. So all these influence in the health of an individual. Also having a healthy microbiome, you can look really thin, but you may have a really unhealthy microbiome. And that means that maybe you're not having like customized vitamins for your body, your hormones are not balanced, you don't have enough nutrients, there might be a lot of bloatiness. So yeah, there's a lot of other, health is complex. It's not just a thin or like, a little bit fuller. Like obviously you have obese and that's another story, but yeah, to your question, for what social media shows that like just always thin people being healthy, it's not the right approach. I don't agree with that.
No, absolutely. And I think if there are questions from those listening to us now that are coming up as a result of the conversation, please go ahead and put them in the chat. And I'll ask, you mentioned gut health as well. So there's another question here for Tejas and maybe Miran as well. It says the best ways to cleanse from parasites, SIBO, mold, and heavy metals for kids and adults. What are some suggestions and guidelines that you have for this? And by the way, this is like a huge topic for me. I don't even know where to begin when it comes to metals. Anyway, like when I see this, even as an adult. So and how much we're consuming as well on a daily basis.
Okay, so I'll go for a helicopter view on that, and I'm sure Miran can pitch in after this. So first of all, knowing that, you have a mold toxicity or a heavy metal toxicity of sorts is a beginning in itself. It's great that you have identified it, because sometimes some of these symptoms are so very complex. A leaky gut could look that way, a mold toxicity or a metal toxicity could look similar way, or there could be so many other factors. Okay, so if you have identified what the issue is, then that's definitely step one in tackling it. The other step is eliminating the source. So what, where is the source coming from? Do you have mold in your AC? Do you have mold in your walls? What do you have to look at? Do you have to just cleanse your ducts, or do you have to go like, completely strip the walls and redo the paints? Or like, if you have wooden houses as they have in the States, right? Is it like, do you have to rebuild the entire structure to begin? It's such a scary thought. So, eliminating the source would be step number 2. The third thing would be to go to prepping the body. So in Ayurveda, the Sanskrit word is called Purva Karma. Okay, so now everybody hears about colonics, everybody hears about like, all the Pancha Karma and the cleanses and the detoxes everybody goes for. But to prep the body towards this is a very vital and critical link in all of these protocols. So prepping the body to detox, opening all your drainage pathways, okay, whether it is through your kidneys or through your colons or through your skin, your lungs, many different pathways, okay. And then you have the adjuvant, like, the adjuvant players with it, like your liver, your gallbladder, your pancreas. So like it's a bigger picture. Prep your body, set the stage, make sure that you have enough immune defenses while you're going through the process. So are you looking at your antioxidants, your vitamin Ds, have you got enough mitochondrial strength to go through all of this process? And then you can actually look at the protocols. Now, the reason I have gone into this depth at this point is to say is because on social media, like Ceci was saying, there's so much of information out there. In fact, there are even protocols available to buy. You will find protocols by actually clinicians that say, okay, here's my mold treatment protocol, go ahead and do it. That is something that is called as bioindividuality and biodynamism. In fact, Ayurveda, I would say, is one of the primary sciences. Probably 5,000 years ago was this principle of individual constitution set out by Ayurveda. Today, functional medicine calls it as bioindividuality. We're going to talk a lot about it in our modules 1A and 1B. So coming up really soon, if people are interested. It's not just bio-individuality, then you're talking also about biodynamism. So like, what my health is today is definitely not what my health is going to be tomorrow. And if you're going to put two of these concepts together and then go for a protocol that's available online somewhere and say, okay, here's my mold protocol, let me do it. I think, that's really not the right way to go about it. If you are going to go ahead for these kind of things, then please, at least make sure that whoever the person you are following is a clinician, is authorized to do so, and is also going to hold your hands while walking on this journey. And yes, there are clinicians online who offer to do it as well, which is practical. But to say, okay, how can I detox from mold or other toxicities, or how can I tackle SIBO or SIFO? Well, I'll bring Miran here as well. First of all, most of these protocols actually require a lot of antimicrobial therapies. Okay, so despite being an Ayurvedician, I will say yes, they require a broad spectrum antibiotic therapy for a specific phase of time. And after that, you will bring in complementary therapies. Okay, you'll bring in things like Ayurveda, things like homeopathy, things like reflexology, okay, things like energy medicine. It is not a one size fit all. It is not a, it's not a protocol that can be literally, printed off from, a website. So to answer this question in a long-winded way, it has to be really customized. I don't know, Miran, if you want to add in over there.
I agree with you completely, Tejas. You're right. There's a lot of different steps that we have to take to be able to rid our body of heavy metals and mold and all of those. But one thing that we sort of forget is that our bodies are made up of bacteria and viruses and parasites and fungus, but they're all, in balance with each other. And sometimes it might be just an emotional trigger, like a stressor or something that our body and that's happening around us that can cause this to happen. And to automatically assume that, okay, I have a parasite and I have to take all these medications or cleansers to get rid of it might not be the right way of doing it. So I agree with Tejas. You have to go with a practitioner, with a health practitioner, to take this step by step and to really find what the trigger is and what is causing the mold to get stronger or the parasites to flare up and so on. So it is
Miran,
a step by
there's a
step.
question specifically on mercury, and I don't know if that's obviously it's different than gut health, but the mercury, and it says, is IV treatment really needed, or can it be done differently for the detox of mercury or from mercury?
I think the principle, I guess, would be the same way, Sarah. Mercury, you're talking of heavy, metal poisoning. Yeah. So the principles on which you're going to look at it is going to be the same thing. Are you, first of all, absolutely certain that mercury is your trigger? If it is, if you have identified, great, then go ahead with the whole thing. But there are so many other things that mimic it, right? So. To jump into it is, first of all, the diagnosis has to be really, really strong. And then follow on from there, therapeutics have to be very strong as well. And it is, again, it's not a short-term solution. These kind of protocols usually take anywhere between 3 to 6 months. So it's also a pretty good mindset change to understand that, it's like Ceci was saying, health is never binary, it's never right or wrong, it's never thin or fat. It's all shades of gray and in between. So as long as we, understand the principles, and that's what we are hoping to provide during our modules. We are hoping to provide some kind of options and a whole lot of possibilities that you can make informed choices from.
Yeah, this is incredible, ladies. I think I really hope in the sense of your modules will give a lot more light into this, though obviously a lot of it is customized, but at least in the direction where we should head. How we even find information, how do we find answers? Those are really critical and crucial to understand. I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes thanking those that are really needing to go, and maybe we would stay together 5 more minutes to answer a couple of more questions. But thank you to all. I know there's some that had to leave already. I really must thank Riham always for all her beautiful, beautiful work before, during, after. She's an absolute lifeline. And then Claire and Rasha, thank you for introducing Grow and Build. It's awesome. And please do continue with us if you'd like, but I just wanted to make sure that I honor, I know we're a few minutes over already, but I just wanted to honor those that do have to go ahead. But there are a couple of questions, because you talked about mind, body, and spirit within this program. How are you tackling the spiritual aspect into this, you know, in addition to the gut health and you know, the weight and all these kind of a little bit more tangible components? I know they're still very maybe natural remedies and things like this, but they're more maybe pragmatic. But when you get to the spiritual, mindful elements, then we go on a whole other level. So would one of you please mention why you chose that to be included and the importance of it?
I think my own personal journey has always shown that the energy component, if it is not addressed, because, okay, let me restart. Our mind, body, and spirit or our health is directly correlated with our life force energy. And the life force energy is subtle. It's communicating through these three facets of our human existence. But one has to build an awareness of the energy, because it speaks a different language. It is an intuitive language. It's a symbolic language. And therefore, it's important, because otherwise we think we're only going to help our body get over these imbalances, but we completely miss the aspect of maybe there is an aspect of us, our soul, that's searching for an answer or fulfillment of our purpose. And the body is just supporting the soul to be, you know, noticed. Like, and that's what happened to me. Like, I needed to be put on my path of my truth, and I was trying to help my body until I was really pulled and said, you're not going to be able to fix your body until you fix what your soul is asking for, you know. So the life force energy is consistently communicating, inspiring, and guiding us, and building that awareness. That subtle awareness is very, very important in order to know how to show up and how to help ourselves, to empower ourselves. And how we're going to translate that in our modules is about some experiences, of course, and giving them an awareness of what kind of language energy speaks.
Thank you. Thank you. The other topic that's really, really big is the topic of menopause. I think this is a topic that has been brought up from the talk series since I started this program, and I don't think we truly ever addressed it in a holistic way. Will this be something that you speak about during the health modules?
Absolutely.
Yes,
it is definitely. Yeah.
Great.
About how to
hormones.
age well as well. We're gonna do the aging well.
So aging well and menopause. Okay, great. Because I think this has been such a big ask, and obviously it's never easy to answer this, even if you do an hour on it, dedicated as a talk. So I'm very happy to know that you'll be dedicating some time with the health module fully to that.
We're really also not only the information, but how to get there, you know, like what are the steps, the habits, and talking about all these, because we can have all this information, but how do we do it? Okay, I know all this, and a lot of people know that, right? But they don't know how to get there. So also there's gonna be information on that.
I think that's absolutely key. And if you are putting some energy and time, as you said, that you've had the first one ready, and as you're building the next ones, I think that's really key. It's really key to help people have steps to get there. And I think when, even Tejas, when she spoke about gut health, she's like, first you have to do this, then you have, like, those steps are so pragmatic and necessary to help in creating a path, because ruling something out is just as important as knowing what it could be to get you to that point. And many of us don't know. I mean, I'm one of, I don't know. I think I can read and educate myself, but there's so much out there. And for someone that has dedicated their life to this field, like you each have in your own special way, that can bring us that information in such beautiful bites, just to at least, because that could be like phase 1. You may go to phase 2 for something deeper later, but at least to enable and empower women of how to make a choice is is super powerful.
Yeah, I think the aim is to, sorry, Mira.
Go ahead.
What I was trying to say is that I just want to take a moment to address the hormones. Hormones not only influence our physical body, but also our psychological body. And so understanding what each hormone emotion, what emotion it brings in, is also important to for women to know. And Sara, you were saying about, giving that bite-sized information. Exactly, that's the vision, to give people, inspire people, to give them a wholesome and a very pragmatic approach to health. That, I think, is our vision for the modules. Sorry, Miran.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say that especially with menopause, it's happening earlier and earlier. Like you hear that 35-year-olds are starting to go through perimenopause and they don't know how to deal with it. So it is definitely a topic that we will be touching on in our modules, because a lot of people are going through it and suffering through it, a lot of women, and they don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
this
in
is really
homeopathy, there's a lot of remedies that can help you go through this cycle in life, this journey, So, and make
Yeah, without
this
having to
transition
meditate.
easier. Yes, and making this
Yeah.
transition easy.
Yeah, no, I think that's so, and I think this is the empowerment, because to know the alternatives available out there, to understand that, because you Google something on there and 17 sponsored results come up before you even get to some content anymore. So having purely dedicated life force energy in providing that, and honestly, a trustworthy source as well. This is so important, because as part of the mission that you're creating is you're creating trust with women along the way, as 70 women showed up today to listen. So I think the ability to create that and hopefully shifting it to an online space will get us to a good place. Even maybe dedicated information or website, and some of the content goes online, and then you go into some individual coaching for different people. I think the potential of this is huge, and the need. There's such a need and a desire to make this great. Thank you. I think we kept everyone, now it's 20 minutes over. Very, very grateful for everyone. We will share all your bios on the WhatsApp group, but we'll probably wait about a day or so once Riham sends the information out. And then for those that joined us new, join the WhatsApp group, and then we start communicating a bit more. I think the tiny URL is already, the Sophia Health pilot is already online. For those of you that want to sign up, please do so. Again, it's in person in Abu Dhabi next week. See if the time and space matches your availabilities, and then we go from there. I really hope I'm back in Abu Dhabi when you make the hormones one. If not, I have to wait till the next cycle.
We'll run a special one for you, Sara.
Oh my God, that would be so great. That would be so amazing. I think maybe when it's ready, we can do an online session for everyone as well, particularly for hormones. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, Tejas, Vandana, Nelly, Miran, Cecilia, I know how much you have on your plates. I know the love that you have for yourselves, but you have for other women, to make this energy and put this forth and bring it about is brilliant. I hope it brings you million more of success, both in goodwill and in financial will, because you really are bringing about something that's going to be super powerful for the women's world, and understanding this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Riham, it's awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed the session. Feel free to give us feedback whenever you like. And then we will be obviously in touch with time. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening for those of you in Abu Dhabi, and a beautiful day for the rest of us around the globe. Take care.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward
Beautiful,
to seeing you
beautiful.
all at the modules. Bye.
Bye.
So much love.